Good day, all. I'm Epstein, and here we are with your SPDR-ETF stock market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening, and I'm late. My whole day is thrown off. I'll explain it in the middle here. And we are about 7:15 at night. I'm much later than I normally am. As you know, I had no electricity. I mentioned it this morning in my SPDR-ETF video. I get up, do my normal thing, and lo and behold, I get up, I turn on lights, there's no anything. We had no electricity, and we had no heat. And this went on for a while. It threw the whole morning off. You'd say, well, what do? I don't put my whole, this is Chicago. We don't need Generac, all right? We're normally up 1, 2, 3. And it just didn't happen in my block. Could have been a transformer. I don't know what happened, all right? I'm not an electrician. By the time it came back, it was already 9-something. I had missed everything, and my whole day gets screwed up when that occurs. So I apologize for being late. I got everything out. So don't get me wrong. We had the live webinar. I hope you attended. We had a record amount of people sign up for it. It was really a great webinar. Fast-paced, and I think we got a lot done. So fun for everybody. Okay. Now, you know, one of the things I keep telling you is you can get my advice for the price of coffee. I want to prove it. So January 11th, put in my zip code, and I went into Starbucks to see what coffee in my area is going to cost me. Coffee, $4.08. This does not include tips, but it does include taxes. Pete's Coffee, $4.13. Dunkin' Donuts, $3.56. Add a tip to it, and you better tip, okay? These kids work for that. Well, I'm $3.98 for 30 days of futures with a special for the next 3 days. I said I can beat the price of coffee. I can't beat it without the tip, but I can beat it with the tip, assuming you're a normal tipper, not a cheapskate. So at $3.98, 30 days, you can take the morning spider for $4.48. This does not apply to current subscribers to either of these, so don't go canceling and then come back in and think I'll honor it. I guarantee you I won't. But it does apply if you're a current morning future subscriber video and you want to get the spider, or if you're a spider and you go, hey, I've always wanted to get that other one. Here's my opportunity. All you need to do is go to our website, iraepstein.com, under research, sign up for it. When you check out, believe me, the pricing will be right, I guarantee it. You can also move your cursor up here. You'll see a link to it, iraepstein.com, or call my staff. It ends Thursday. This is not normal. I've never done this, but I wanted to prove my point, and now I have. You can get this. And by the way, that coffee's going to be out of your system in 24 days. This is going a minimum of 30 for you. You can extend. It'll roll over automatically into the regular pricing. You can go to the members login, cancel early, add other things. It's all there for you. Okay. So we have a sea of red primarily behind me, but not everything. You know, Uber was, if you look at it, up. LUV was flat. Rivian was down. Lucid was down. GM was up. So I can't tell you all the autos were one way or the other. The copper was down along with the metals. And it's interesting that the metals were lower tonight because you did see attacks of the U.S. against the Houthis, of Iran, sending missiles over into Iran, attacking very close to U.S. bases in Iraq. They sent them over there. Very, very close. I mean, we're getting closer to the unintended real problem. But the Houthis, I don't know. They're going to be a problem. They're going to try to hold up world shipping. They're talking about it at Davos, and the ire of the world's going against them. Their argument, and we know it, is that Israel has to stop in Gaza and finish this up. Whatever's going to happen. I don't control it. I report on it. When we take a look at Interactive Brokers, which I covered for the weekend, their earnings came out, and they beat on the earnings, and the stock market fell just like that. Why? I wish I could tell you. I looked at, is it Petterfly? He held his interview, and I had the pleasure to meet him once. I tried to sell a stock company I owned in the 90s to him. I didn't succeed with it, but I got to meet him, and a nice guy. Ended up selling the stock company, I think the first Boston at one point. Then they became other companies. But you can see what the market is doing through there and what this is all about. It's sideways. You're still in an uptrend. You have higher lows, higher highs. The support of the market is all the way back at 85.11, and an event happened that is normally bullish. You did get a crossover of the 18-day average over the 100, and the 100 has been over the 200. So the setup on the chart action is classic bullish in terms of moving averages. The shorter term on top, medium term 100, then the 200. For support, this is it. But to get there, you break the pattern of the swing line, which will then give you no trend. You'd have a higher high and lower low. It's a difficult chart right here. When I take a look at the Bollinger Bands, you would hit them and been over them for 3 days. You move to the right-hand side, you've gone sideways. As I said, the earnings came out and the stock broke on the earnings. So unless something dramatically changes overnight, that isn't going to help. And you're overbought. Deploying of new money, no. Normally, like I say, when you get this bullish crossover, you make a run for the highs. We'll see if that happens after a bit of a break here. CCJ, uranium, Camco, important that we cover it. I told you that this is becoming more and more important. So I've dropped Rivian, and I've now put this up for a while. I can always come back, but I covered Rivian for the better part of a year, and I think it's time that we start looking at uranium a bit here. The market is just coming off a good correction, got overbought. You don't buy, at least I teach you don't buy over Bollinger Bands because you only stay over them 5% of the time. But on a good hard break, I'm interested, so I thought it time that we look at it. In the gasoline fund, notice how the market is stuck at the 18-day average in red, and you have a higher high, lower low, no real pattern to trade off of. In the financial services, nosediving right here. Well, why not? All I'm hearing from all the banks are that they don't expect to earn more interest, that may have peaked on them because I think they're already building into their models that the Fed's going to make cuts. I am not in that school of thought yet. Yes, eventually they'll make cuts, but to tell me that it's March, I'm going to hold my ground. I need to see, there's 2 more jobs reports, 2 more CPIs, 2 more PPIs, 2 more JOLTs, 2 more ADPs, 2 more Challenger Grays. There's so much data yet to come, and you're telling me that that's a given. So far, if it's a given, the Fed's not cutting because the data's been too strong. It's will the data fall? The onus is on that it's got to fall. If it stays as it is, I don't think the Fed does anything. And that's weighing on the markets. The markets, I think, are saying, not that I'm saying it, but they're hearing central banker after central banker saying exactly what I'm saying because that's where the logic sits. The market's always optimistic. The central bankers are always realistic. You came up, you got to the 18-day average, you're pulling back. Is there a move there? I don't see it. I still don't understand this whole rally in the industrial sector. I don't see it. Did you see the New York Empire numbers today? I almost fell out of bed how terrible they are. And I get this market down 1% today. I mean, it's just not there. Industry hasn't picked up. AMC, I pray I don't want them to go bankrupt. You heard what I said. Remember, they have done they've done multiple, I'll take the stock, I'll have inversion, give me 10 shares, I'll give you 1 share, I'll boost the price up. That came out. They try everything. Nobody's going to these movies. That's the problem they're having, all right? The price is too high. Just had this conversation with one of my close friends. I said, you got 4 kids. You're taking them to the movie. You can't get away for $100. He agrees. I said, well, the average person can't do that. If they go 4 times during a month, it's $400. God forbid you had to leave somebody home with a babysitter. And what if in cities you got to pay for parking? You're not in a mall area. Doing them in. Just not working out. RSPD, you can see how coming down, the consumer discretionary falling back. Why not? The consumer was your hero through the whole Christmas holiday. We're now going to see Amazon, Costco. We're going to get all the retailers soon reporting for us. That's what we want to see. I expect those numbers were good. I don't expect big buying in the month of this quarter. You might get television sales for, as usual, the Super Bowl coming up, and then it'll be Valentine's Day, and then we start talking spring sales again. Got to think in the ways it is, but I think the consumer front loaded. Remember in November, we saw that they went, instead of on their debt, they went from what was it? I think it was 9 trillion to 26. Numbers are so crazy when you're dealing with the whole economy. It was an insane number. It was 3 times the amount the market was looking for, which to me is forward buying. They're not just putting it on credit cards to go out and have their grocery. They're doing more than that. Home builders, I can see a bit of a pullback here. They're not ready to just run, but there's pent-up demand like there's no tomorrow. This is January 16th. At the end of January, people start looking again, and they're contacting the builder, and they're looking. All right, January's a rough month, but it's right around the corner. XLE, energy, just coming down with everything else. Are we talking $64 crude oil is what I'm wondering. I mean, if all this war threat can't lift it, it can come down because world economies haven't picked up. And it went up because people are saying, oh, the Fed and European Central Bank and everybody's cutting rates. Are you bothering to read? Governors of all these are questioning, should they be doing that right now? In the gold, neutral. Not much you can do there. Silver, all you did is you're fighting a battle at the 100-day average. You got through it like it didn't exist. You went to the Bollinger Band, and it's been a resistance point. When you close over 2154, the 18-day average, I'll get very interested. Until then, it's too oversold to go short, and it's in a downtrend, if anything. Copper, the same thing. China was supposed to announce a bunch of changes on Monday. No bank ratio cuts, no of the reserves. I'm not seeing a lot of money thrown into the economy. Instead, they show up at Davos and they claim that they hit their goal for the year of 5.3% growth, only by their numbers. Don't you believe? By Western numbers, I'd be shocked that they're up to that area. They can do whatever they want. Remember, when they don't like something, they don't report it. Remember, they used to report youth unemployment. It was 22 to 25%. The easiest way to say everything's better is don't report it. That's what they did. So now you're down here. And by the way, the world, we saw that Taiwan did get a favorable president to independence, but not in parliament. China has to love that. It's not all one way. And that took, in gold in some of those markets, a bit of the edge off too. Copper market, though, you need them to come alive, or we need rate cuts around the world to say, here comes industry. We're not there yet. BND, all you had is a bear market rally back to the 18-day average, and you faltered. The dollar up to the upper Bollinger Band. Remember, we had this crazy move right here? I said, I didn't get it, but I said, you can't hang around being short. Well, that was 35 cents ago. And on this type of stock, that's a long number. And you're coming down to the Bollinger Band and FXC. Guess what? This is a good spot to be looking at covering shorts. So I'm going to remind you, we don't have a lot yet. It's coming. Look at the price of coffee. Look what you can get these subscriptions for. Move your cursor up here. Give it a click. IRAEpstein.com. I'll see you in the morning, hopefully on time.